now turn it over to Lakshmi. Lakshmi, it's all yours. Can you hear us okay, Lakshmi? Can you hear us okay, Lakshmi?
Finally, yes. You can hear me all right?
Yes.
Sure
yes.
can.
Oh, good. Thank you. Let's see. I guess Liz is here. Shall we give everybody a few more minutes? Yeah, maybe one more minute, maybe.
All right, and then if you guys don't mind, please mute yourself unless you wish to speak. I think that'll cut back some of the background noise, and so that way I don't have to, purposely mute everyone and then have you guys raise your hands. So we'll see if this works. Please, yeah, like I said, mute yourself if you are not speaking, and then unmute yourself if you'd like to speak.
Right. What do you think, Kayla? Shall we?
I'll go ahead and get started. It's up to you.
Liz, okay. All right, well, let's just get started. Welcome to the Source Reduction Working Group for Partners for Sustainable Nevada, everyone. I'm really happy to see you all here. I'm Lakshmi Albright. I'm going to be chairing this working group going forward. And Liz is going to be helping. She'll be co-chairing as well. And yeah, I just want to say I am really, really thankful to you all for, wanting to be part of this group and wanting to, find, to be contributors to many of items for us to, make proposals for at the end of this. And I'm very, very excited to be sharing this, but I'm a little nervous, so please bear with me. I think that challenges with waste reduction really starts at, trying to reduce it at the source. And so therefore, this is why I really chose this particular group as our main focus. And yes, challenges are many, and but I also believe solutions can be found without serious reduction to our standard of living. Yeah, I don't want to say too much right now. Basically, we, I'm just very grateful for NDEP to facilitating these conversations, all of the different working groups, and thank you all for being here. Just one couple of words of my background. I just actually come from technology world. I work for a large corporation, but on my spare time, I work in a nonprofit called Reusable Reno. We're trying to address, at least at the beginning, plastic waste, single-use plastic reduction. Single-use plastic waste problem with reusable items, especially in the food service industry. But that's just our starting point anyway. So that's about me. Liz, you want to take it from there?
Certainly. Thank you, Lakshmi. I have a background in sustainability, working with the Nevada Business Environmental Group right now. And we really work with companies on various items, but mostly waste reduction is my role. And I do have a great interest in thinking about source reduction as you design it into your systems, whether it's a service or a product that you're making, to think about waste at the end and fix it at the beginning. That's kind of why I was really interested in this group. And I'm happy to co-chair. So if you ever need anything and you can't reach Lakshmi or Kayla or Brianna, then please feel free to reach out to me. And I think what we're going to do, Lakshmi, if you don't mind if I start this part of it, we have a bit of an agenda to go over. And we had asked you all to fill out a survey, and I believe just about everybody did. But to put a voice with the name, with the company, we'd like to very quickly go around the screen and just tell us your name, who you work for, or if you have your own company, and what area do you want to focus on? What source reduction area are you thinking about when you came to this group? So we'll do it fairly quickly, and I will call out people's names so it's not so awkward of us have three of us speaking at once. So I'm going to go around my screen. So whoever is at the top, which happens to be Patty. Patty, if you could just tell us who you are, where you work, and what area you would like to focus on.
My name is Patty Moan. I'm the Northern Nevada Recycling Coordinator with NDEP. And I guess I would want to work on reusable containers in food service.
Great, thank you. Dean, you are next on my screen. If you could tell us your name, who you work for, and what area you want to focus on. Oh, we can't hear you. No. Okay, we'll come back. We'll try you again. Aster, you are next on my screen.
Hello, thank you for this opportunity. I'm from Nevada Green Institute. I'm a founder and the executive director of this organization. Anything we do, we study, we do research. That's my area is I do research. That is I focused on understanding, designing strategy, evaluating, and then implementation. So implementation and evaluation in all sorts of the thing. I'm very interested in this area because I started zero waste, building a zero waste community 2 years ago. So we did develop a survey. I'm going to send you to all now. We can go through things and then learn from the community, because I believe the community should be part of this discussion. That is the only way we can achieve this. My interest is strategy, a longer strategy. How do we design strategy? And I read in European work and other things, and I have some idea of it. And the understanding the waste composition and thing, what we have, and then we start from the history. And the report I saw from Nevada Department of Environmental Protection, it lay out more landfill, you know, how many square feet we have in some assessment, but we need to return back to see what is the composition we have, what is the thing we can recycle. I'm sorry, I did so many things. We work with the students under the community group, community research, the UNR. With them, for example, we identify, we develop a survey, and people, they answer about waste reduction. Example, I will share with you another time. And they talk about, they don't even understand very well about recycling. They don't know what to do, not to do. So this is a very important aspect in bringing the community into it to do it right. If recycling is not done well, you know what that means. It goes to the landfill, even though we are putting in the recycling bin. You know, it doesn't mean anything if it is not well done. So, I go into it in this individually. It's a hard work, but I felt that we started. We focus, as you said, everybody here said, is waste reduction, minimization. How do we do it? We should understand the source of all materials, and then we need to work with the businesses, stakeholders, we and others. But I'm focusing on strategy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, good. So strategy is what you would like to focus on. Thank you very much, Esther. The next person I have on my screen is David Gill. David.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. David Gill, come from the tech space originally. I partnered with a company called Environmental Logistics. They've been in business for a little over 30 years, really focused around sustainability recycling for a lot of Fortune 1000 companies. We do environmental, social, waste minimization, zero landfill, a lot of government contracts, have a variety of different people on staff in terms of geologists, technicians, emergency responders. So we have pretty much a lot of robust services that we offer. Really, you know, in terms of this group here, where I'm kind of getting interested is we have a water treatment plant in Northern California. We have representation in California all throughout, Texas, Kansas, and we have an office here. We're looking at opening a circular economy facility here. And what I'm trying to do in terms of this meeting is I want to hear what some of the initiatives are of the state and some of the local areas, and to see if we could tie in some of the initiatives that we're working on to see if there's a win-win for some of those communities. So what I'm hoping for with this program here, one is from a networking standpoint to see what some of the folks you guys are working on, to see if we could dovetail some of our initiatives behind some of what you're working on. And then the other piece is really learning more about the programs that are out there for the state of Nevada. You know, I think it's imperative, you know, Governor Sisolak released his sustainability plan recently. Senator Cortez did her water plan just recently with the issues that we have with the Hoover Dam and so forth. And those are the type of things that I'm hoping in here we could kind of review and see where there's some synergies are.
Great. Thank you, David. So circular economy is what I'm taking from what you're interested in. That's
out of everything I said, that's the way to distill it down.
Okay, great. Thank you. Kathy Flanagan, could you tell us what you would like to focus on? Hello.
Hi, so I'm Kathy Flanagan. I work with the Southern Nevada Water Authority and also the Las Vegas Valley Water District. I guess for the purposes of this work group, I'm just interested in resource preservation. So with respect to our water, pollution does reduce our water quality, but you know, we're also at a place where we don't have a lot of quantity. So we really have to protect what we do have. So those were my thoughts when I signed up for this group.
Great, thank you so much. Madonna Dunbar, you are next on my screen.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Madonna Dunbar. I'm the executive director of the Tahoe Water Suppliers Association, and our big program is Drink Tahoe Tap. And that is under an umbrella of being the resource conservationist for the Incline Village General Improvement District. So with that, I also run some recycling, household hazardous waste programs. All our programs are source water protection programs linked as pollution prevention programs. So for us, always talking about how protecting the water protects everything is super key. I am a single-use plastics focused reduction girl. Specifically, Drink Tahoe Tap is a consumer awareness campaign about the fantastic tap water we have at Tahoe and how you should drink the water instead of buying bottled water.
Recently. So what do we have going on?
Oh, David, can you mute your microphone, please? Thank you.
Reducing
Go ahead,
single-use plastics in food service is a huge goal, the circular economy goal. And I specifically target bottled water in my work. So, connected up here at Tahoe with a lot of entities and agencies. Super excited to be meeting everyone here. Reusable Reno sounds great. I'm looking forward to working with the group.
Great, thank you, Madonna. So single-use plastics, water protection. Kathy with water protection. The next on my screen is a cell phone or a phone that ends in 9515.
Tanima, Pauline. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So I am a CEO and founder of the Textile Recapture Program and Ecoculture Manufacturing and Ecosustainary Technologies. We are a California-founded company, female-founded, and we just recently relocated to Vegas. And I'm interested in technology, fashion, and sustainability, and specifically landfill diversion. So the single-use plastics is right in line with what I do in terms of diverting plastics from textiles, diverting textiles from landfill, which are plastic. So, and what we do, we actually work with brands and companies, and part of our our Persona Cork brand is we actually sell our products with no single-use plastics. So when we sell our products to buyers, they receive them, and there's none of that. So
great. So textiles is a great focus.
Yes, it is, and it's really a big problem.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be a part of this group, and everybody. What you're talking about is this has to be community. It has to be a collaborative, which is nonprofit, for-profit, government and non-government. And we're stakeholders. We all need to be part of this because that's the only way that this will change. So There you go.
I agree. Thank you so much. Kim, you are next on my screen.
Hi, everybody. Kimberly Rios at Keep Truckee Meadows Beautiful. I'm their sustainability coordinator. Happy to be part of this group. Particularly with our nonprofit, we do try to focus our efforts on circular economy, promoting that, as well as diverting as much as we can from the landfill. And much like what's been spoken about already in this group, in particular, single-use plastics is one of our big draws. But that when we talk about waste reduction, it really does encompass all sorts of things: food waste, paper diversion, just anything that we can do to help prevent items from being sent to the landfill, and start providing those easy solutions for people to be able to have options when it comes to time to disposal, and what happens when someone doesn't want something anymore. And so again, circular economy is really important for us.
Great, thank you so much. The next one on my screen, and I saw that someone just joined, so we're giving our names, who we work for, or if we have our own company, and what is the source we want to reduce. Like, what is our what focus are you all thinking about? So the next one on my screen ends in 9270.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So my name's Tamara Wright Waldorf, and I own a couple companies, actually. One is a sustainable consulting company. I like to run demonstration projects and pilot projects, but my background's in architecture, so I'm interested in building reuse and deconstruction, as well as single-use plastics. And I also have a clothing company that I'm very interested in the textile recapture and learning more about that, because that's one of the issues that we're facing with our own company.
Great, thank you so much. So I heard textile, single-use plastic, and construction, correct?
Yes.
Great, thank you so much. Mark Copping, you are next on my screen.
I'm Mark Kopang. I'm with Raley's. I'm Director of Sustainability here, and we're obviously interested in doing everything we can to reduce our landfill. We've got great programs in place regarding recyclables and food waste, but we want to continue to improve.
Great, thank you so much. So food waste was one I heard, and recyclables, did you say?
Yeah.
And you have a packaging background as well, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, okay. The next on my screen is Jeremy Walters. Oh, we can't hear you, Jeremy. No. Oh, now I heard something.
If your microphone's work, you can always put something in the chat box as well.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I don't know why this webcam doesn't work when it wants to and works when it does. So, Jeremy Walters, Republic Services, thank you all for having me. I will be chairing the Education and Outreach Group, which brings me to my interest here. Kim Rios is my co-chair over there. A lot of the working groups are going to have carryover into what we're doing, trying to educate the public. From my perspective, particularly on the source reduction, working in the recycling industry, you know, I hear a lot of people talking about circularity, talking about single-use plastics and things like that, but truly helping potentially identify where your most valuable source reduction is going to be when we're talking about single-use materials, right? Things that truly have no marketability. You know, it's a great thing, and I'm definitely an advocate for reducing as much waste as possible. But when we're talking about things that have no marketability, right, there are other things outside of plastic, aseptic cartons, you know, milk cartons, plastic grocery bags. There's a lot of things that plague our industry specifically, dealing with recycling and waste management. So truly here to hopefully be a resource along these conversations, and maybe getting the conversation geared towards true impact rather than the low-hanging fruits that obviously take center stage when we're talking about single-use plastics and things that have environmental implications to them. So really, from my perspective, in short, is trying to identify where we can make the most impact on true single-use materials that have no market value.
That's excellent. Thank you so much, Jeremy. It's great to have you here as a resource too. So, Chris Lynch, you are the last one on my screen outside of NDEP.
Well, thank you, Liz. And so I work with Liz with the Business Environmental Program at UNR, and we work with the business community, helping them with sustainability, compliance, permitting. So I guess my interest is really, you know, focused more towards as we have this growing economy in the state of Nevada, you know, how do we work with the businesses to make sure that they're incorporating pollution prevention and waste minimization into their business operations, you know, and how can we encourage that?
Great, thank you, Chris. I think I knew what he was going to say because I work with him, but that's okay.
I will let you know that Tina Mudd is on here as well. I think since we have more than 16 people on here, there's an overflow, so not everyone is showing up. But if anyone else is not showing besides Tina, go ahead and raise your hand and we'll introduce you guys. But Tina, go ahead. Todd, okay. Not quite hearing you, Tina. So you're good on my side. Well, Tina, we'll give you a minute. Todd, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, Todd Welty here with the Reno Tahoe Airport Authority. I'm the Environmental Program Manager. Yeah, there's so many things we could talk about with respect to waste diversion, recycling. You know, I think I'm hopeful that we can expand those avenues to, you know, expand recycling and waste minimization. One of the big things that we deal here with the airport all the time is, you know, most of our waste is generated by the public. You know, people bring in those single-use plastic bottles to the airport, purchasing those, bringing trash to the airport through security. not properly following the guidance from the security, and having, you know, bottles thrown away and shampoos and all that kind of stuff that gets taken away at the security checkpoint, you know, generates a lot of waste for us here. So hopefully we can work on trying to educate people. I'm hopeful to do that and expand our recycling efforts. Hopefully, you know, try to get waste management more commercial type entity programs. The residential programs are robust here in Reno. There's a lot of opportunities for waste diversion and recycling when it comes to residential programs, but for the commercial entities, it's very limited. We're stuck with particulars under their franchise agreements, and it costs us a lot of money to recycle here. So just those types of things, hopefully we can work on and expand and make improvements too. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Todd. Good to hear from you and your viewpoint. Tina, can you guys hear me now?
That's weird. It kicked me right out the door. So anyway, thank you. Tina Mudd, Granite Construction, and I am our regional environmental manager here. And I too am very interested in the circular economy approach. And being in construction, you can imagine the amount of potential reduction that could be happening in the work that I do, because we do heavy civil construction. Granite Construction is a very large recycler in the community because we recycle roadway, asphalt, concrete base, and a bunch of other materials. And so I am also the chair of the Policy and Funding Committee. And that's kind of why I'm both here and on that committee, because there are some reduce and recycle opportunities that are missed due to specifications and policies with other agencies that we deal with. And so if we could start addressing those, there would be more opportunities for large scale reduction and recycling. So I'm just really eager to learn from all of you, and I'm excited. This has been really entertaining already to see everybody's background. So thank you for having me.
Great, thank you so much, Tina. Kayla, did I get everybody? Because I'm not so familiar with this. I just want to make sure I don't have a page I'm missing.
I believe so. Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, I will turn it back over to Lakshmi.
Did we get Dean already? Because earlier he couldn't speak.
Yeah, he put it in the chat. So he says he's at a loud airport. Yeah. So go ahead, Lakshmi. You can take it over now.
All right. Basically, I wanted to just kind of talk about the goals of this group. I think the NDP's idea for putting this working group together is that we would come together from various, different parts of the state, and also from businesses and nonprofits and all various stakeholders, and we put together sort of a menu of options, so that could be basically put forward, and then that could be used to implement, say, ordinances at city, county, state levels, or it could be perhaps maybe encouraged to be used by businesses, and then of course, and in schools and like public institutions. So all of these menu of options, while considering how we would achieve that, how well can it be implemented, and what's the impact, the widest impact possible, the cost of doing that. So taking into all these various different things into consideration to basically end up with these many of options that and we only have, I know it sounds like a long time away, but we only have till end of March to do this. And in my mind, yeah, 6 months it's a good enough of time, but we also have, because the when it comes to source reduction challenges, there is so many things to think about. We already heard today, from water to textile to single-use plastic to, energy, you name it, right? I mean, just so many things that we can go down a rat hole, for example. But so we want to try and, achieve this menu of options, while also trying, since all of you stakeholders are have certain things that you want to achieve, or at least get it into the menu of options. Let's try and focus on that. So Liz and I were talking about perhaps we could start with getting, maybe for the next meeting, we could start with each of us perhaps bring one of the main thing I want to say is we know the challenges really, but we want to try and focus on the solutions, right? So that's why, how about each of us bring a certain particular topic that's on your own priority list, say, and that you want to see implemented. I'm not saying that we will have a worked out solution, but something that you think is the most should imminent and should have priority. And so we could then each everyone gets a voice, everyone gets their chance to bring that up, and then we could, as a team, vote on it, and then to take it up as a cause, so it will require research, it will require looking at the problem from all different angles, and then looking at solutions, what will have the most impact. It will take all of that will take some work. So that's what we were thinking of doing, and I'm hoping that you're all in agreement with this. So please speak up if you have different ideas, and at least that's what we were in a nutshell, hoping for next 6 months. Liz, you want to add anything?
I would just add, as Lakshmi said, we have so much that we want to focus on that we do need to narrow it down somewhat. And so I think Lakshmi came up with a great idea in that we list out what we think are our top priorities, but then choose one to bring back to the group. So I think what we're going to do is give you guys homework. Of course, we're going to do it too. But just to think about that top priority that you want to bring to the group and say, this is one of the areas we should focus on. It is one thing that we should be putting on our menu of options at the end. And how are we going to solve this problem and bring it as a solution to be on a menu of options? And I think I saw somebody raise their hand, correct?
Yes, yeah, Aster did. So Aster, go ahead.
There is projects needs attention like for statewide, and then there's projects maybe focus on, for example, I have a waste, zero waste. It can be focused by area, region, or city, or something. I think the area it determines also how the depth of research should be. Example, another is I'm interested in, I started the research already in preliminary research, is a circular economy for solar panels in Nevada. This is statewide because it's required. There's a lack of adequate legislative So we need legislators, we need, the state things so involved. This is really statewide project and everybody can contribute. But so we cannot, if I present it to you, I will present both. One is very specific and in a specific area cover, but the idea, it can be a pilot, it can be replicated by other cities and region. That's good. That is all about this working group, bring knowledge and understanding. And then that is just adding what you have said.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is going to be definitely a challenge, trying to be as specific as possible, but also, trying to address more broadly the issues. We will have to, navigate those things as we present each idea, and we can discuss it as a team. I totally support what you're saying. So yeah.
So Lakshmi, if you don't mind, something that I think might be helpful to help you guys kind of get ideas moving forward is, what if right now, if we do kind of a brainstorming of what does source reduction mean to you guys as stakeholders? What programs do you think that we should consider and that we should be looking at for the menu of options later on? You can have as many items on your menu of options as you guys would like as a group. Just because something is on the menu of options doesn't mean that immediate action has to be taken, but it's just really saying that yes, we are identifying that this is a topic that we as a state need to consider, and here are some ways that we can start making forward progress on it. So in some way, this I'm hoping that this will help your guys' homework is go ahead in the chat box. I think if you guys can think of a source reduction topic, go ahead and put it in there. Let's just start getting a large list going. I know we heard a lot about the textiles earlier, water, plastics, plastic packaging. There's so many different ways that we can start talking about source reduction. And, in order to kind of start bringing these topics together and putting them into categories, we need to see what we're working with first. So if Lakshmi, Liz, if you guys think that's a, one way that we can kind of start brainstorming and going forward, we can start opening up that conversation.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get that. But just one thing that I did want to ask sort of around the group. What does the source reduction mean to you? I know we talk about recycling, there's talk about, lots of different ways of landfill, diversions and things like that. But I'm just curious if someone wants to volunteer specifically about source reduction, because that's what the work group name, really is. And so I'd like to hear a couple of thoughts on that.
Yeah, I saw Kimberly Rios, you went and raised your hand.
Yeah, not to answer Lakshmi's question, but I just had a thought as you were speaking, is in terms of existing data available for us from the state, is there a waste composition in terms of the types of leading item materials being sent to the landfill? Is there something like that available?
That's a wonderful question. I wish I had a better answer for you, but unfortunately we do not. The data that we have is the composition of the recycled material, not the material that goes into the landfills. There are several other studies that have been done throughout the nation that can kind of, we can say, well, Reno is similar to, this other city, or we can look at Las Vegas, but, every city is very unique. We have a lot of tourism in our area, both North and Southern Nevada. So we'd, kind of have to deviate from that. But long answer short is no, we don't have exactly what material is going into the landfill, unfortunately. But having said that, that's something that we want to, if we need that data, let's figure out how can we get that data? What do we need to
Yeah, I would say it would be useful to know that just on all different levels, if we're looking at targeting exactly what it is that we'd like to avoid sending in the landfill, it'd be nice to find that out, what those leading materials are already.
Yes.
This one's my challenge right now in how to organize.
I would say, Jeremy, like, I think you probably have a good point to make, correct?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Where should the mirror go?
Okay, so
I mean, feel free to like put it however. Oh, you know what? Why don't you go get their fabric and work on a little dressing room? That would be a good thing.
okay. So to expand on what Kayla said, we don't have composition of what's going in the landfill, especially in our area. I mean, the sheer volume of what we have coming in daily it's pretty, I won't say that it's impossible, but it's close to try to get a real true picture of what exactly is going in there. Anecdotally, what I can tell you, we see plagues our industry, whether it's at the recycling center or, you know, windy days at the landfill, it's the flexible plastics. So grocery bags, chip wrappers, any type of flexible bag or wrapper is probably one of the most common things that we see. And that, to me, is a low-hanging fruit, right? You want to talk about source reduction. I think that there's a good conversation to be had around plastic bags. There's a number of other flexible plastics that come along with that, but I mean, right there is something that is truly achievable. I mean, you look across the United States and they're talking about plastic bag bans or charging people for the utilization of plastic bags. I think that that's a simplistic approach, you know, because again, where this working group, and I think a lot of the working groups are going to find somewhat of a challenge, is that there are so many great topics to talk about, but what is truly achievable or attainable, you know, in the short term? And then as you work through that, going into the bigger picture and how can you extrapolate that? My opinion, and I was going to throw it in the chat, was something around the flexible plastics. I would tell you that you talk to any recycling center operator across the United States and they tell you that one of the biggest challenges that we deal with is flexible plastics.
All right, Todd Welty, you raised your hand a little while ago.
Yeah, regarding the waste characterization, Washoe County completed a study back in 2018 where they did a 2-season solid waste composition and characterization analysis at the Incline, Sage, and Stead, as well as the Telegraph transfer station. So they did a decent little characterization of that back in 2018, which, you know, could probably be built upon or updated, but there is an existing characterization out there from Washoe County.
That's right. I did forget about that. Thank you very much for reminding me. We can send that out to the group along with today's notes and the recording for today. I think that'll be a wonderful addition. Thank you, Todd. And then Patty. Oh, yes, sorry, Liz, go ahead.
I was just going to say, to add to your email, maybe a link to NDEP's. You have a characterization of waste that you do, or recycling that you do every year, don't you? Don't you have a report? Yeah. Maybe a link to that too. Great.
Sure thing. Of course, you got it. All right, Patty.
I was just going to say what Todd said, that we have to watch.
As soon as you said that, I thought that's what you would say as well. Awesome. Yeah, thank you guys for remembering. Okay. Okay, perfect. So back to you, Liz and Lakshmi. Where would you guys like to take the next brainstorming to help with furthering today's goals?
Well, okay. Considering that I didn't have volunteers for the source reduction thing, so
you can always go back to that, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just share just a couple of things. I think that, yeah, of all the research I have done and with the stats on recycling and on various things, whether it's textiles or plastics or anything like that. Even something as good as, steel and, glass and all that. And of course, cardboard. And I still think that we, as a, within the last 30, 40 years, we have increased, I don't even know, thousands of fold the amount of packaging and everything that we, everything comes in extra packaging, in unnecessary packaging. And this is absolutely, why are we putting up with this, right? Why are there's big corporations that are telling us that this is the right way to do it, and telling us things like, oh, this is for our own good safety, or, but is there really so much truth to that? Does my plug that I order, if it comes with an extra plastic top, does it help me in any way? Those are the questions I've been asking myself in terms of, same with the water. People running their lawns in the middle of the day, 90 degree. So these are the challenges. So for me, source reduction starts there. It's like, let's start thinking more back, not at what comes at the tail end of this economy. When something is produced and then it used by somebody and then thrown into the garbage. We're looking right now, everything, and there is a different work group for it, the recycling work group. I would love for us to focus more on the beginning end of it. So that's for the circular economy work, we need that source to be more sustainable, more plastics that are more high quality plastics, perhaps, that then can be recovered and then put back into the packaging. So those are the kind of things that I more, I've been thinking. So that's my little spiel on what I mean by source.
Let's go ahead. Let's take the great ideas, Lakshmi, and let's get everyone else's ideas. What does source reduction mean to you guys, and what different programs should we be looking at? I know Madonna and Tina have been putting in a couple ideas into the chat box. What are some different areas that we need to just start looking at that very beginning circular economy idea? We've had the plastic bags mentioned, but go ahead, you guys, just put in a large list about all the different source reduction items. That way we can start making a plan of different goals for future meetings. In the meantime, if you guys go ahead and do that. Mark, I see that you've raised your hand.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, I think plastic is certainly been topic of conversation here, and I respect that. My background actually is flexible packaging. And I think, I just want to make sure that when we look at solutions that we're not making the situation worse. And when you look at, especially with flexible packaging, the performance characteristics that it has allowed glass and metal cans and other more energy intense and resource intense packaging solutions be replaced. So, there's a lot to this. And I think that, if we're looking at policy, let's keep in mind the impact of that policy as far as implementation is concerned. As an example, I think plastic bags is a great example of something that is prevalent and I think has been a nuisance. In California, we've decided to replace our standard plastic bag with a thicker plastic bag that's supposedly reusable, and it is. But it needs to be reused about 100 times to be equivalent to the plastic bag that it replaces. So we were using more material, more energy. And are we really using those bags, 50 to 100 times? No, we're not. So have we taken a step forward? I don't know that we have, but do we feel better? Yes. So I would say let's just make sure that we're being guided by science as much as we can, that we're understanding the impact of the decisions that we make and how have a monetary impact on our producers and the people that are supplying us. So that's just that perspective. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Mark. And I wholeheartedly agree. I think it's, really good as we discuss in these meetings is not everyone's going to, agree on everyone's perspectives and this many of options. It's not going to be an endorsement of any one particular thing. So there is, a lot of different science about the different plastic films, and some people are passionate one way and the other. So I think this is a great idea to bring up those different ideas and perspectives and just bring those to light. We're not, like I said, we're not making an endorsement for anything, but we want to lay out all of the different options. So if there's, several other options to these different, and I hate the word ban, that's, I don't even like that in my vocabulary, but if there's, someone wants to bring up a plastic bag ban, what are some other options that we can potentially reduce plastic bags instead so we don't have to go that far? But again, yeah, that's, I think, a wonderful perspective, Mark. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. This is exactly, the greatness of this, being able to bring this group together from their various perspectives and actually, entertaining all the ideas without throwing the baby with the bathwater, as they say. Yeah, I don't mean to say that, plastic is the enemy, definitely not, but there is definitely been done wonders to our world. So we do have to keep that in mind. It's just more about how can we reduce the waste and reduce, right? So this, I'm sure we will have a lot more great debates about this. I'm really looking forward to it. This is good. Anyway, keeping the time in mind, we don't have much, maybe we'll continue this discussion, but as Liz said earlier, if we could, come back with, ideas that's on your priority list to speak next week, next time, that would be great, and we'll take turns. We just wanted to touch base on the frequency and the meeting time. Liz, do you happen to have that handy, and you want to kind of talk about?
The times that we had said in our survey.
Did we get response on that?
The
Kayla.
survey I think we had put like Tuesday at 1 or Thursday at 4. Correct, Kayla?
Yeah.
I think that's what we had put. And then we had said, we had suggested every other week, but we can certainly have a discussion about that. So anybody have thoughts on that? Time, days, frequency?
Yeah, and I think as you guys, like I said, we can send out a survey after this meeting to, before your guys' next meeting, we'll have these more broad topics outlined. So that way we can identify, each meeting, what are we going to be really discussing, I think in greater detail, so you guys are able to attend either every meeting or every other meeting, ones that you guys are just interested in. So I think that'll kind of also help delineate the different time restrictions that you guys are able to meet.
Yeah. But I think, is everyone okay then with the next, at least to begin with, until we perhaps work out, maybe breaking off into different groups or whatever, until we work that out a little bit. Are you guys okay with meeting again in the next 2 weeks? And let's get the time. Okay, nobody's saying no. That's good. So of the two, Kayla, did we in the last survey, did we get the response on which time was?
I believe the Tuesday is at 1 p.m.
Tuesday at 1 p.m. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that will have to be. So what are we looking at?
I think that's October 5th, or we can go to the 12th. So either one. The
Yeah.
5th is like a week and a half, right?
Yeah.
A little
October
bit
5th.
less than 2 weeks.
Okay. October 5th, 1 p.m. it is then.
So I will send out that meeting request you guys with a calendar invite. Also send out, like Liz and Lakshmi mentioned, just the different homeworks of, really we're going to set the goal of, we're going to identify the large parameters for what does source reduction mean to you guys? How can we start putting different words and topics to that so we can start talking about these different ideas, and eventually, down the road of where to be some different ways that we can start to, offer solutions to tackle these problems. So right now we're just talking about what is source reduction, what does it mean to you guys, and what are some different programs that we can just start talking about to help, reduce some of the different wastes going into the landfills. Additionally, I'll send out the waste characterization from Washoe County. That was a great reminder. Thank you to both Todd and Patty. And then also the recycling data that the state collects. So hopefully this gives you guys a better idea about the different materials that are moving throughout the state. And then you guys can continue to think about other things regarding source reduction. And then next time we're going to start diving a lot deeper into these topics. And then, like Mark was really pointing out, plastics is a huge topic. What are some different ways that we can start talking about how to reduce the different waste without, creating and causing different problems along down the road? All those different ideas are certainly, we want to bring them to the table and highlight them. So as you guys continue on throughout your work week, the next couple of weeks, think about these different topics, and we look forward to seeing you guys next time. Liz, Lakshmi, I'll turn it over to you guys to wrap up.
Sounds good. Liz, you want to go ahead?
Sure. Just to thank everybody for joining, and so exciting to hear all of your ideas and different backgrounds. I think it's going to be a really good working group. So thank you.
All right.
Thank you guys. We'll see you on October 5th at 1 p.m. Have a good one.
All right. Bye.
Bye.